very stoic looking, these Kiri. Elites of Ullar. And let's see what mantra they say. What's in their lore? We flee no fight. The pact propels us. We feel no pain. The pact protects us. We fear no death. The pact preserves us. Mantra from the Elites of Ullar. As Milky's spear stills one final orc, the flesh of Ciara's shoulder begins to knit back together. Only now that the battle is won does the pain of her many wounds begin to take hold. She stumbles just slightly, steadying herself against one of her war sisters as they revel in their victory. Pain is a weakness. It slows and it hobbles, leading to missteps in the dance of battle. Elites, sworn blades of Ullar, can afford no such weakness. So, by way of trances, magics, and sheer force of will, they defer the pain. When the battle is done, they will have time enough to hurt, or no time left at all. The tribes of Ekstrom know much of fighting, for they warred among themselves for untold generations. When the Archkyrie Ullar rose to power, he did so not by force or by guile, but by forging a pact that bound all tribes together toward one singular purpose: to stand against any who would name Ekstrom their enemy. Ciara's grandparents would have laughed at the idea of Sayland, Atlaga, Milky, and Ziamara fighting side by side, but her grandparents were killed in one of those tribal squabbles. So Ciara fights on in their name, for a better future for Ekstrom, for Ullar, for the Pact. So Jeremy, when it comes to this lore, it's kind of cool that we actually get a name of, because this is a common, usually squads, especially like commons, they're not given names, they're not given any individuality. So it's kind of cool that you get one of them that actually has a name and a little bit of stated purpose here. What do you think about this?
That was pretty good. If I recall, Dylan wrote this one, and it was a really good highlight on the desperation that was going on in Ullar's homeland. So we got to read a little bit about it in the previous bio, but now there's more details that the tribes of Ekstrom were at war with each other before they became bound through Ullar's attempt. When Ullar became Archkyrie, he made sure that all that past wars, past fighting was over. So this is a good snapshot onto that and what's going on here. That connection is stronger now. Now that since they're all unified under Ullar, they're working together now. But that is something they would never thought would have happened. So, yeah, I really like the snapshot they provide here.
Yeah, the like right here, the tri-blade part of them, and they're flying. They're not using their legs. They're just flying around in the picture. So you get to see a little bit more of the Kiri and how they think, how they operate. At least this part of Valhalla. What they think. And yeah, it's cool to see like names that in like early lore, like Ekstrom, has been mentioned in the past, which is on the map. If you see, like, I got a map behind me, it's up there. That's where Ullar resides. Now, I don't know if you can answer this, Jeremy, but and I haven't read up on this month's scenario, but like, all we know, Ullar is going mad from being like someone's poisoned the water hole, type moment to where he's going mad, and we don't have any resolution for that yet. We know Utgar's been cast down, but as far as everyone else who's been poisoned, there hasn't been any resolution in that story.
Right.
So is that type of and we're getting a little lore heavy, guys. We'll get to the unit in a second. Is that type of splintering that once happened in the past, since Ullar is now kind of like not all there? is there splintering going on, or are they still remaining unified?
So
how much can you say?
And Shiamara, yeah, Mielke and Shiamara are trying to keep everything together, because if you read in their bios, they know that Ullar got poisoned, so now they have to take charge. And so that's kind of how that's been playing out, especially in like with the Crackling bio. You know, they sent Tamine to go find something to help protect the borders because things are getting rough now. But yeah, Ullar is not in control of his own mind because he's poisoned. So his leaders have to take charge while he's still trying to figure out the cure there. So, and he even kicked Sonlin out. Sonlin's on his own trying to figure out the cure. So there's a lot of like small little details that get built into the story. But as far as we know, Ullar is still poisoned. So
okay, all right, it's good to know. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into the card, because I think we've got some people questions in the chat for Ken. All right, so Ullar, Elites of Ullar. Now this goes without saying, like, will we eventually get elites of like Jandar? Will we get elites of Einar? Will we get elite common squads from other Valkyrie generals? That's a question. But anyway, Kiri common squad, warrior, loyal, medium 5, life of 2, move of 4, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 3, 105 points. And of course I got flying. No need to explain that. Blade dance, unique Ullar Kiri. You control, roll 1 additional die when attacking a figure engaged with 1 or more of your elites of Ullar and Ullar's Pact. If an elite of Ullar receives a wound from a normal attack by an enemy figure, after that attack you may move 1 unengaged Kiri figure you control who follows Ullar up to 4 spaces, even if all your elites of Ullar are destroyed. Now, why does that sound familiar? I feel like I've read that before. I think that was with another. Was that with a GI Joe unit? Is that where I'm like familiarizing that myself from?
The
Ullar's Pact.
You're talking about the green shirts. Ullar's Pact? No, that's
because I thought I don't know. Something sounded familiar.
Renegade is doing a lot more like free movement abilities on lots of different cards, so you might have seen something similar.
Yeah, probably. So Ken, what do you think of these? And I think
it's a great question.
Just one more. Dan had a question.
Sure.
It says, I'm curious if they're too conditional with order market placement, or if they are a good army in contemporary. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've talked about these a few times. I think this is a finesse army, because I feel like, obviously the armies, 3 of these guys, ZMR and Mielke, right? And then ZMR keeps the elites alive by canceling damage, and then Mielke heals them. So I think this is more of a finesse army of when to put that order marker on Mielke, because ZMR will move herself, or Ullar's Pact will move ZMR, so she'll keep up on her own. But Mielke will need those order markers on occasion to heal, and I think her base attack is 4, if I recall right. So, and she's a flying character, and she has a double attack. So the chances of her killing something, and getting height because she's flying is pretty good. So 2 attacks of 5 will often kill something. So that being able to heal people is actually really good. She can't heal herself. But the other thing to think about is ZMR also works on Mielke. So if they focus down Mielke, that could be lots of different attacks, because ZMR could be using that amulet to keep her alive. So I think this is a finesse army. I often compare it to the Goblin Cutters and the Hornskull Brutes. Okay. I think that's a very finesse army about when to put order markers on the Brutes versus the Cutters. And I feel like this has there's a little bit of movement with the Cutters and the movement with the Elites. So I compare those a little bit to each other.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so I think this is very finesse focused army. I think it's gonna lose the mass commons. 2 life common squad though, that's fascinating. We have not seen that yet.
Right.
So, and once again, I encourage everybody to find a way to keep their figures marked with their wounded or not, instead of putting a little red token, because that's a little annoying. But like whether you buy those chips for Renegade, or you just put like a little red rubber band on their character, like, or whatever, or if you want to color each one with the red, this is a red one, so he's red dye, blue, whatever you want to do. But I really encourage that people to do that. But I think these guys will do well in like smaller figure limits. So like when we talked about like being able to change around like in a 24 figure limit, these guys probably won't do super well. But like in a 12 to 12 figure limit, I could see these guys doing well. Because like I said, Milky hits really hard, and the fact that she can heal others, and then they give her +1 attack, right? If she's adjacent to them. So she could, so she can roll up to 6 dice against like, you get a couple of elites engaged with Q9, backed up by ZMR, and Milky comes in, attacks him twice for 6 if she's on height. That's not bad. It's going to take quite a bit of setup, right? Because you got to get through all those rats and whatever. But, but once again, I feel like it definitely can be done well. I just think that like the format has to be. I don't think it's going to be any format. It has to be a fairly special format for them to do well, but I do think they can.
Okay. It's a lot of the synergy is very indirect. It's like there's no bonding synergy yet. They still like indirectly synergize with each other. You just gotta, like you say with finesse, you gotta like learn how to place your arty markers and know what to play and when to play it. And that seems to be Ullar's, like the Ullar army code basically is like there's hardly any direct synergies. It's all just like a unique balance, or trying to keep a good balance of independent units with each other. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on these?
Hold on, I was sorry, Jeremy.
No, that's fine.
I was wrong. The Great Bows have 2 lives, so they're not the first common squad with 2 lives. So Derek corrected me. I did ask him how much a Necrotech rider has life, because I believe he doesn't know.
All right.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
I think these characters are pretty good. Now with 105 points, you gotta be careful, because it's not like you can draft a whole bunch of them. You can only draft a few. But yeah, they're definitely meant to boost that kind of synergy that existed in the Ullar squad, the Ullar Kyrie that we got. If you look at them, you're like, they're supposed to be working on something else, not just themselves. So that gives you a chance to kind of, I think it was Spear Sankari and all that. Try to see how that works. They definitely are made for that army, and specifically if you want to use those characters as those heroes, you're going to want to use these squad members to help boost them and give them a little bit more opportunity in the battlefield.
Yeah, especially for those who love Ullar and who want, it's a great common squad to have for those types of builds. Now, would this squad work for any like Classicscape Ullar minis, or is it just the stuff that Renegade's released? Do we know anything about that?
Yeah, it should work like with Atlaga and Sayland as well. Okay. If you want to try them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's take a look at Elites of Ullar. Very, 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 very nice. Very, very nice units. And you got the 3-bladed. What do you call those? I don't know what they are. Remind me, what's the type of thing you put over your knuckles? What's that called? That has no blades.
The brass knuckles.
Yeah, brass knuckles. It's kind of like a blade knuckle or something like that.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting. And I just like how their face is very solemn. Like they're neither happy nor sad. It's just they're just there to fight, and emotion is gone because they've been fighting for so long. So yeah, very interesting.